what's going on? Miguel, host of Life Full Circle Radio, and it's Wednesday, so we getting it in tonight because next week I'll be working. Next week I'll be out of town, so can't go live next Monday. And this past Monday we just missed it. So, but too much going on because today, in the last couple of days, Shannon Sharpe, ESPN host and podcaster and all that good stuff, he out there with some 19-year-old OnlyFans chick, and now all the bleep done hit the fan. So we're gonna deal with that. Kevin Gates decides he wanted to try to pull up on LeBron James and make a name for himself, and I know he's relatively popular in whatever circles he's popular in. I don't give a crap about him, don't know much about him, but everybody knows about LeBron. People know about this guy Kevin Gates, but he want to run his mouth about LeBron's wife. So we're gonna talk about that. DeMar DeRozan, basketball player, I guess he got into a beef with some influencer. I don't know nothing about it, and Kia's gonna get me up to speed. Tracee Ellis Ross is in the news, and she says she doesn't date. She's 52, well, she's about my age, 51, 52. She doesn't date men her age, and she's got a story. And you know, it's kind of interesting. You know, a lot of people, women are the same women who are saying that Shannon Sharpe shouldn't be dating younger women are talking about "You Go Girl" with Tracee Ellis Ross. A little hypocrisy here. And then I don't know what's going on with Corey Holcomb's story. Kia will get me up to speed on that. All right. Make sure you check us out on all the social media platforms because we're out there in them streets, YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch. That's where we're rocking and rolling right now. Super producer.
Ooh, black men.
You text me today. You was like, yo. First thing this morning, like, yo, we got to go live.
And we had to go live because at first everybody was in Shannon Sharpe's corner, and we'll get into this whole story.
Yeah.
And then he decided to release information that he thought would help himself, and it didn't. It just made more people go, "Oh, so you did it?" Like, this wasn't just her shaking you down for money. You actually did this, and now we have proof that you did this.
He never denied that they had a relationship and that they was having sex. He never denied that.
No, he denied that he never abused her.
Go ahead. I'm gonna let you lay it out.
Okay, let's just go ahead and get into it, people.
Because I'll be full transparency. I've seen what I've seen. I haven't read everything. But because what I have read from the text messages is that you lay it out, and then I'll come behind you.
All right, on April 20, 2025, Tony Buzbee, and if we all know who Tony Buzbee is, he's the same person trying to sue Jay-Z, trying to sue Diddy. The lawyer behind the Deshaun Watson misconduct lawsuits. The lawsuit is basically, has filed a civil lawsuit against Shannon Sharpe alleging sexual assault and battery in Clark County, Nevada. The lawsuit is seeking $50 million in damages. The complaint filed by a Jane Doe. We actually know who her name is right now. Her first name is Abby. They have not released her last name, but she's an OnlyFans model and she is 19 years old. She accused Sharpe of physical and emotional abuse, which included R-word on 2 occasions in October 24 and January 2025. The lawsuit comes days after it was reported that Sharpe was nearing a $100 million podcast deal for his popular podcast Club Shay Shay, as reported by Front Office Sports. Here's everything we know so far. So in response, Sharpe's legal counsel, Lanny J. Davis, issued a statement vehemently denying the allegations, which named Jane Doe, Abby, as Sharpe's ex-girlfriend, Gabriella Zuniga, an OnlyFans model who met Sharpe at a gym in 2023. I thought her name was Abby. That's what's trending online, but I guess her name is Gabriella. Fine. So
Gabriella, Abby could be short for Gabriella.
She's white. She's white. That's why I'm saying all the letters white, because that's what it could be. Abby, Gabriella, Becky, whatever. Shannon Sharpe released text messages. I am not going to go into all these text messages because they are extremely graphic. But one of them says, "I want you to put a dog collar around my neck and choke me with it while you're." Then she was another thing. "I know you, Mrs. Juicy blank," and it just gets more graphic from there with the text messages. She also had audio recorded where she basically told him, "Hey, I was not expecting what happened last night. It didn't feel good. I asked you to stop." And instead of him being somewhat apologetic, he was like, "Oh, I know you wanted that. You know, we were both in it together. We were having fun." He has made comments about R-wording her in public. He has made comments about choking her in public. It has just kind of gone on and on and on. Let me read a couple of more excerpts. Again, we're not going to go too graphic. Let's see, because I definitely know I saved it because I saved it on purpose.
As you're pulling that up, I, you know,
Go
what
ahead.
the first how I got wind of this is I saw him pop up on my feed, and he was already making a statement, and he was saying, you know, there's, you know, I'm getting ready, these accusations are ready to come out, and you know, it's a shakedown, and the girl is wants $100 million, and blah, 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 blah. I said okay, and so then he starts to talk about how it was a consensual relationship. At this point, I didn't know what the girl looked like. I didn't know how old the girl was. I didn't know anything. I just knew what he was saying. And then I started to get wind of some of the text messages and some of the stuff. And then he said she was an OnlyFans person. I said, okay.
Exactly. It starts to go downhill.
Right. Stuff started to go downhill from there. And then I said, okay. And so then we started talking about, see, here's the thing. When they start talking about the choking and all of this stuff, and this is stuff you guys can read, I'm not going to go deep into it. But it always challenges me because there are people who like that type of activity.
Yeah.
And, right. And so to say that he was going to choke her, it sounded like from the exchange, that's what she wanted. Right. And so then you're saying, okay, they'll be like, no, but it was, you know, blah, blah, blah. It's rape and sexual assault. Hold on. That's two consenting adults. And I hate to get involved in conversation about what's happening in people's bedrooms. But then you start to get into, then people say, well, it's the age thing. Well, the age thing is a whole different conversation. That's a whole different conversation.
Well, let me read some of these notes and then determine. So this is actually from the lawsuit. According to her, he recorded their intimate sessions. If you would call,
he recorded it or she recorded it?
He recorded it.
So if he recorded it, why is he asking for them to give him the full tape?
In the lawsuit is he recorded the intimate sessions, and she described them after she found out they were being recorded. She described them as weird and R-wordy from the get-go. During their first conversation, he offered to buy her breast augmentation. First time that she goes to his house, he opened the door, didn't say a word, walked upstairs. She followed. He points to the bed, and he disappeared into the bathroom for 5 minutes. He comes out, turns off the lights, lays in the bed. 10 minutes of silence. Then, without warning, he grabs her from the neck from behind, presses himself against her, and says, "I knew from the first time I saw you, I was going to blank." Again, now that paragraph to me, y'all, he's just weird. He just got weird, kinky stuff going on. That's not a big deal. He secretly recorded all of their encounters. He would repeatedly grab her by the neck and threaten to kill her. This woman is not Michelle. And we all know Michelle from that weird, creepy video that came out. Remember that video of him having sex? Remember that?
Okay.
Michelle video? Anyway.
Yeah, okay.
He saw her in public, forced her into his car, and drove her home and SA'd her last October and then again in January.
Now, these are all her accusations, right? That you're reading?
Well, the recording, he confirmed that he had done some of the recordings, but yes, the essay is from her. He repeatedly told her he would punish her sexually so no other man would want her. He got goosebumps from how much he enjoyed assaulting her. Sharp is currently facing a lawsuit in NYC that alleges essay. Sharp made similar threats to that plaintiff. So but let me just back up for a second. What really bothered me about this is that now you are using the black man trope. I don't know if you watched his apology, but this is what every black man does, saying that they're trying to take down a black man. At what point is it your fault for any of these black men who make these awful, horrible mistakes?
Well, okay. So there's so much to unpack here, right? Yeah. There is that part of the conversation, but is that true in this case? I don't know. You know, it's one of the things where these athletes they end up allowing themselves to be targeted by these folks that are really trying to get relationships with them for a payday. We see it all. We see it in the headlines all the time. We see it all the time. You know, you have your gold digger rules you've talked about on the show before, right? So, so it's par for the course. And then you start to get into the situation where there are people who are freaky as hell. There's stuff that they love to do, stuff that they want to do. And but the challenge I have with that from what you just read, if that is her account, why is he saying release the tape, the full tape, Tony Busby, stop releasing half the tape, and he keeps saying that they will not give him and his team access to the tape. So what tape is she talking about? And what does he have is part of this, where this is going to go.
Audio recordings of phone conversations. He wants all of that released. She's talking about actual video recordings of their sexual encounters. So there's two different recordings here. She's putting out bits and pieces, or he is, of their phone conversations, and he wants the entire audio put out. After hearing some of this audio, I don't see how this helps him, but whatever, fine. You want all of it out, put all of it out.
Well, yeah. So here's the thing. Here's the thing, because he came out so swiftly and with so much confidence about this thing. If he was videotaping their encounters and she was truly as promiscuous and freaky as he claims, it's all right there on his tapes. And so the audio tapes. So, go ahead.
What I think is him having a recording. So let's say he is doing some super freaky stuff on there, and she could come back and say that I was acting excited because I was worried that this big black man was going to hurt me if I didn't sound excited and happy.
Okay, so now we're getting back to the black man part. The big black man and fearing the black man now by your account in that scenario. Yes. Then you get into this situation, which is always slippery slopes in these sexual encounters of, no always means no. Always means no. But if this tape shows that she seemed like she was feeling enjoying it, but she's gonna claim, well, I wasn't really enjoying it. Well, that's not what we see on this tape, And
here's the other thing that I think is really interesting. Not Kevin Gates. I'm already going to the next crazy black man. Shannon Sharpe offered to settle with her for $10 million. He and his lawyers admits to this.
Did he? He offered to settle? Go ahead.
Yes, for $10 million. He offered to settle this case. Before I even say that, but what I want to say is Tony Busby tried to do the same thing to Jay-Z. Jay-Z was innocent and said, let's go. You want to do this? Let's do this. Bring your accuser out. Bring everybody you got to go out. Let's party. Let's go to court. Let's go, because I will vindicate myself. To me, in the Shannon Sharpe case, if you were really innocent, why not take the Jay-Z route? When we clearly see that Tony Busby backs down from the Jay-Z route. That's exactly what happened.
I'm listening. I'm looking some stuff up, and of course, I almost pulled up a Fox headline, which we know that's always going to be kind of slanted. Because then there's
I thought you said you were for OnlyFans. I was going to say don't do it.
Yeah, that's not going to happen. So I'm looking at this headline that says Larry Davis explains Sharpe's $10 million settlement offer. Is the headline here. Larry disclosed during a media conference call that the Hall of Fame tight end and media personality Shannon Sharpe offered at least $10 million to settle the claims made by the woman who sued Sharpe for sexual assault and other claims on Sunday. Now, is this current case, or is this a new? Because he's got a couple of cases going, right?
It has a couple of cases going. It doesn't say, but he said if it says the one that was filed Sunday, that would be Gabriella's lawsuit. The other one was filed back in November.
Sharpe's position is clear. It's all falsified, it's all fabricated, and it's all part of a broader effort to blackmail him. So, like many cases when a person of a high profile is in...
It's too long. It's like 60 minutes. We're not watching all that. So Larry Davis explained Shannon Sharpe's $10 million settlement offer. So when you talk about Jay-Z and him fighting the case and making that case go away, when you start talking about she taped some audio, he has some video, which of course I would assume that if she's playing the edit game, he's going to play the edit game with the content with the videos that he has. And I don't know if they can be subpoenaed to share all the content. Shannon Sharpe has got his history is starting to pile up of very quickly with these women and how he likes to get engaged. Like you said, the sexual tape that came out, the sex tape that came out a year or so ago, and now he's a much more bigger personality than he was with everything going on with his success. on television. This brother better find the right chick that's gonna do what she wants him to do and get in a relationship and can stay out these streets.
Here's the thing, and I really hope my mom is not watching, and my husband, I think he's on the phone. The gold diggers in my the gold diggers in my era were a lot different.
Mm-hmm.
We had to deal with stuff that made us uncomfortable,
Mm-hmm.
but it was almost like this unspoken thing of it stays between this group of girls. We tell each other our stories. We leave it at that, whatever. It wasn't a whole let's jump online and talk bad about people and put them out there. And I'm not saying any of the girls, and none of the girls in my group were ever essayed. It wasn't like that. But every guy had a weird kink. Everybody had like a weird, stupid thing. Like some guys were.
Right. Well, you don't have to go into that much detail. Right.
It's not inappropriate. It's funny. There was one guy who had a really big thing for a teacher at his high school. So when he got older, he always wanted the girls to dress up like that teacher. That teacher would always wear a school polo shirt. He actually had the school polo shirt made. She always wore jeans or a denim skirt and these weird little sneakers. He had the girls dress up in this outfit. No matter which girl it was, they all had to wear that
fetish. He had a little bit of a fetish. Yeah.
But that's a weird thing.
Yeah. And then some people like to choke, and some people like to get choked, and then some people, there's a reason why there's a whole sex toy industry. There's a reason why, this stuff is not just being manufactured, nobody's buying it. So then you start to get into our prudish ways that say, oh my God, clutch the pearls. I can't believe that this girl likes to do X, Y, or Z, or this dude likes to do X, Y, or Z. And you sitting back and just like, hey man, this is what somebody who's a workout type of guy, who's a very aggressive football type of guy. He's got to survive to be where he's been. He's had to have a time in his period life. He was a very aggressive natured person, right?
Yes, but Shannon Sharpe's not going to survive this. You know that, right? That he's not going to
survive. What do you mean by survive?
That
you think his career? You think his career is going to be over?
His podcast deal might stay. This might end up being one of those iffy kind of, well, we can't really tell. You an OnlyFans model. We don't know. He's saying this. It might end up being like that. But the endorsements he has right now with some pretty big brands, I don't think they're going to be associated with them. Even if it's a he said, she said situation. I mean, he's got deals that I see on YouTube, on TV right now that they're probably not going to really want to be involved.
I hear you. I hear you. I think we are at such a place right now in our conversation that there are people that are running around who are celebrating the Shannon Sharpes of the world, right? You got people that are still fighting and scratching and clawing to try to tell us that R. Kelly's not as bad as he is, right?
Or Bill Cosby.
Right. So, when you start talking about that, is he going to survive? I don't know. He's thriving in a testosterone-driven world in sports and running his mouth, and there's people who will look at this stuff and say, oh, that girl is just, she is what she is. So I don't know, man. I don't know. Your girl came out, the video is making the rounds where Monique was telling Shannon Sharpe to find him an old B. And have you seen that clip that's running around right now?
I've seen that clip. And the other clip that is circling is him with Donnell Rawlings when he is kind of mocking Donnell Rawlings for getting a 21-year-old pregnant pregnant, who was from the Bad Girls Club series. Mind you, Donnell got this woman pregnant. Their child's 10 when that video came out. This happened 10 years ago when he got that woman pregnant. She came out and was like, I lived in a relative and an enemy. Nobody knew who I was. And then all of a sudden it's out there that I'm Donnell Rawlings' baby's mom, which was crazy. And I wasn't 19, I was 21. And, it just, I don't feel bad for Shannon. I don't feel bad for any of these athletes who flock to white women. Let's just say that out loud. I don't feel bad for you.
Well, that always challenges me.
Or any celebrity.
It ain't just white women. It's young women. It's gold digging women, right? Because it ain't just white women that's chasing after these athletes and they're doing what they're doing, right? It is women coming from a lot of different spaces. And so, but is there a lot of black athletes when they make it, they seem to gravitate to non-black women? That's a whole different conversation. Here's let me see if this is queued up right.
Gravitate.
So you think you know Wix, but do you really?
Hold on. Shut up.
First up, we've got Shake video masks.
My man
Dating.
got himself a Wix commercial. I know
What
that.
advice is somebody if a group of women were in here and it's like, come on, they talk to us. How this dating thing? Because it's Mo is different now than when you and I.
It's different, baby. I'm grateful I'm not 56 and trying.
But you tried to say what you tried to say. Mo,
I'm looking right at you.
I know you looking at me.
I ain't backing down. You better take your old ass and get somebody to love you.
Damn, Mo.
Now I'm looking right at y'all. Let me tell y'all what Shannon needs.
Let me live my
Let
life.
me tell you what my baby needs. He need him an old fat gal who can bake good cakes, make some smothered turkey wings, who gonna rub his feet at the nighttime, okay, and gonna have a sip of his cognac to make him feel better about himself when he come home at night. That's what Shannon needs. You don't need no 26-year-old girl. You don't need no 36-year-old girl. This is your auntie talking to you. Take your old ass and get you an old bitch out there that can love you old.
So, everybody here in the show been watching our show long enough to know that we got to love, kind of tolerate relationship with Monique, right? And she, she's an old comedian, so her mouth is going to be, his mouth is going to be what it is. But there's some truth to that. You 56 years old and you're in great shape. He's he got a stylist and he dresses halfway well and he's popular. And rest assured, hey, whatever.
Remember the Total Wines outfit? That two-piece green outfit he had from the Total Wine with that orange purse? Remember that?
No, I don't remember that. But I'm sure you pull it up, I probably will. But the point being is that you got to get to the point that these people, you got to get people that's gonna rock with you, man. You got to stop running around in these streets, messing around with people who just want something from you, don't want to give anything back in return, man. And that's the part that I think a lot of folks in the celebrity space, they seem to miss. The importance of that is to make sure that these people have the right motives. But here's the thing: some people saying, you know what, I'm at that point, I don't give a doggone about what these people want from me. I just want to have some fun, and that's kind of maybe that's where Shannon is. But once again, you playing with fire out here, messing with these youngers. These youngers don't even know nothing about no sacrifice. They're out there trying to get their cake.
But a 19-year-old OnlyFans model, to me, that feels like bottom of the barrel when you're someone like Shannon Sharpe. Does it not to you?
Yes, but I'm Shannon's age relatively, right? I don't even know what the OnlyFans logo looks like. I've never been on the OnlyFans page. I don't even know what the culture is on OnlyFans. To me, it sounds like it's a place for people to virtually trick themselves out for money. And so
that's exactly what it is. Great description. There you go. That's what it is.
And so because of that, I have no desire to go in a community of that sort. So, but he's out here. Hey, he got money. He I don't know if he has any children. I know he got dogs. He always talks about his dogs, and he out there living the life. Living whatever life you feel like he wants to live.
But is that the life? Is that the life?
I don't know what the life is for somebody of his means, who been in the NFL, Hall of Famer, been around having women throwing themselves at him for many, many years. And so that's also the challenge. When we always talk about like the LeBron Jameses of the world, if LeBron James, they've tried to throw stuff out there for years. LeBron has had some couple of relationships here and there. There's a newscaster here in Atlanta. They try to claim that he has something going on with years ago. The bottom line is, if he's ever cheated on his wife, on Savannah, we don't know. And it ain't never been no big deal. But the point being is that for an athlete to be able to make it through that, but honey, the funny thing, and I don't know if it's just a good marketing ploy, but you never hear a lot about these white athletes that get out here and they have a bunch of salacious relationships. The closest thing we done heard in the last few years is a tight end over there in Kansas City. He had the black girl he was dating before he was dating Taylor Swift. But you don't really hear them talking about these chicks kind of running through that. But go ahead.
That really wasn't scandalous. And there are a couple of white athletes. So here's the thing about white athletes that I've seen. When they get in trouble, it's for like domestic violence. Like they're getting drunk, attacking their wives, getting kicked out, getting in trouble. They're doing bad stuff. It's not like baby mama drama like black people have. Our stuff is baby mama drama or whatever.
Or like Anthony Edwards paying off his child support for 18 years and writing one check.
It's that type of stuff. And LeBron James has cheated on Savannah before. But from what I have heard from the Golden Girl, Golden Girl rumor mill, is that he doesn't cheat with multiple women. That's not how he does it. What he does is he finds one girl additional from Savannah that will have a little bit more of a flexible schedule, a little bit down to do more fun things or whatever, and that's the one person. It's not multiple girls forever and ever. It's that one person for a long span of time when that person doesn't want to. And of course, they sign NDAs and agreements and blah, blah, blah. They get set up, and then that's the end of it. And maybe that's how he's been able to get away with it, that he doesn't have to worry about 50 billion girls coming out. It might be one or two girls over the last, decade. And if one or two girls come out that he cheated with, are we all going to be like, oh my God, I can't believe he did it? Or are we going to be like, oh, one or two girls, that's it? Who the hell cares? Like, why would we care about one or two girls and he's been with Savannah since high school? Girl, get over
That
it.
in itself, and who the hell cares, is like, whew, Jesus, where are we? But
I'm just saying, I'm just being realistic.
yeah, I hear you. I'm just, I can, anybody ever comes out and talking about what they done did with Brother Lord, use alive from the pit of hell, since I've been married. So and I hear that, and I just, anyway, that's a different type of dude. So let's move on.
Not your vibe.
Anything else before we move? Because I do want to stay with this LeBron James story, because we do have another story connected to LeBron James. Go ahead.
Yeah, we can go ahead and move on to talk about LeBron James and Kevin Gates, who, by the way, I didn't know who this Negroid was. And I'm saying Negroid on purpose. I don't know his music.
Yeah.
I've seen his face only on social media. I don't know who this is. Apparently he's a rapper. He is dating, what is her name?
So I had a friend of mine who posted, I guess she used to be on Jersey Shore.
No, what? No. She is the girl who she got pregnant by PJ Washington, and then she did like a gold digger class for Deion Sanders, but I can't think of her name right now. She converted to Muslim. She's Muslim now, and she's no longer. Yeah. Anyway.
Okay. Well, regardless, it's these women make careers out of being side chicks. It's wild to me. And in this day and age, it's wildly popular. But as you mentioned, Kevin Gates, who was a rapper, I've heard about some stuff with him. I don't know not near song. You could play some of his stuff right now, and I would like, who's that? No idea. I have no idea who that is. But he decided to come out, and he wanted to talk about. He wished that Savannah, LeBron's wife, would look at him the way white women look at LeBron, and LeBron kind of responded a little bit.
So here's a story. Early this week, Gates did Instagram to give his unwarranted opinion on the couple's relationship, and that would be Savannah and LeBron. In the Instagram post, the Two Phones rapper compared the way Savannah looks at her husband versus how white women supposedly react to him. He pointed out white women who come to see him play are, I'm not saying that, who are super excited by his presence, whereas Savannah acts like a jail warden. And he went on to say more stuff like that. And LeBron responded how any good husband would respond. A picture of him kissing Savannah with her smiling and him saying where to go to next, queen. And then a couple of days later, Kevin Gates is sitting courtside with a thought-turned Muslim woman at the Lakers game. Kevin Gates is a joke. We were just talking about this with Shannon Sharp situation. Mm-hmm. So white women look at black male athletes, and I'm sorry, this is the truth. They look at black male athletes with lust and a goal. Mm-hmm. How Savannah is looking at LeBron right now is like happiness and partnership. And this is how Tracy looks at Miguel. If anybody, I've seen this. This is how Tracy looks at Miguel. That's a normal relationship. This is how I look at Omar. Right. It's happiness and purity and joy and just pureness, you know?
It's a relationship. And they're in love. They're built a life together. They got a great family. And if they're fronting, they're doing a hell of a job. But I don't believe that they are. I believe that this was his high school sweetheart. He's been with this girl for well over 20 to 25 years. And while you out here going, bouncing from chick to chick, Kevin Gates, this is what a relationship looks like, right? And so when people get to talking about what you will do and what you won't do and this, that, and the third, I remember back in the day, Cass, because before Trey, I had my relationships, but I was always one at a time. I mean, you can cut your eye at me all you want. But when I wasn't in a relationship, whatever. But it was always so wild that I was always in control of that. So, I wasn't the cat who was going to be running around with 3 or 4 women at a time because I ain't had the patience. I wasn't trying to be dealing with that much emotion from that many different people. Cats who make a life out of that, I don't know how y'all do it.
Yeah.
I don't know how y'all do it, man. To me, you got to be damn near heartless to live the life that some of these cats be living, man. Both men and women. And in this day and age, I can't. It's got to be hard, man. It's got to be hard to date in this day and age. It's got to be a monster right now because with the ability for everything to be out there in them streets, you can't hide much of anything because somebody's camera's always rolling, and then you got to make a decision, and that's something too. Tracee Ellis Ross, as we were talking about that and her conversation around how she says that she doesn't date men her age. She only dates younger men. And so
let's go ahead and pull that clip up so that
go
we
ahead.
can.
You got something? I'm looking for something. What you got?
I don't have the clip. I was hoping you had the clip, but we will wait on that. I will say this about Tracee Ellis Ross. One thing she did say in that interview, and the interview she's talking to is with Michelle Obama and her brother. And this has become like the new place for people to go, which is good. Since Shannon Sharp's going to be out of the job. So this is a great...
And a lot of it is because... Let's stop on that, folks. Oh my God, we had a great dinner on that. We had a great dinner, by the way, where across the table, your husband goes, but why? And I said, well, maybe because I can. Yes, Harish. This is what I'm saying. Tales from Tracy's... It's fun. It's very fun to share. Tracy Tales. But I'm sorry. But one of the reasons, though, that... Because I had to ask myself that question. I was like, what is this about? Yeah. Because I want a partner. And so often... And it's not just that I'm older. I'm also very embodied. I am a full, very whole person who knows myself, who is in charge of my life, and who lives a very full, just robust life. So it's not just age, it's like life experience and sort of a difference. But I had to ask myself the question, why? Why does this keep sort of coming up other than they're hot and gorgeous? There's that. But a lot of men, I mean, we've talked about this, that often I date younger men. And a lot of it is because... Let's stop on that, folks. Oh my God, we men my age are steeped in a toxic masculinity and have been raised in a culture where there is a particular way that a relationship looks. And anything that starts to smell of that for me, I did enough of it where I was controlled and felt like I was a possession or whatever those things were, or prize, and I have no interest in it. And
So it comes back to toxic masculinity is Tracee Ellis Ross's, and she slipped that in. The men are gorgeous because they're younger and they're in better shape. So unless she wants to go with Shannon Sharp's in amazing shape. Why don't she? They're about the same age, but anyway. Go ahead, jump in.
One of those heads from Easter Island. Why would anybody think he's attractive?
Stay on topic. All right, so Tracee Ellis Ross, and she basically said toxic masculinity. She has a full life. She then starts talking about all the life experiences that she's had, but that doesn't really make sense that you're dealing with men who don't have the life experiences that you have. So in part, it really sounds like she just is somewhat of a type A control freak. And so she is a younger guy. She can control him a little bit more. She doesn't like men who and then toxic masculinity is a thing, not diminishing that it is a thing. But you're not gonna sit up and tell me all men her age have toxic masculinity. Come on, man.
No. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying, what you took from that is completely opposite from what I took from that.
Okay.
You were saying that she's dating younger men because she's a little bit of a control freak, and that it was control freak and something else that you said.
And that she said that most men her age have been raised under toxic masculinity, and that's why she doesn't want to deal with older men.
So I don't think any man is raised. Well, some men are raised with toxic masculinity. I agree with that. Other men, I feel like, gain these toxic masculinity traits over time. And I thought what she was saying is that the men in her age, after a time of living, you gain certain traits that she just doesn't like. Younger men don't have some of these traits. And also younger men may not care what she does. they're not going to be like, well, where are you at? I don't want you dressing like this. I don't want you doing like this. They might just be like super excited. Like, I'm with Tracee Ellis Ross. She's so pretty, so she can do what she wants, which sounds stupid, but she appreciates that because she's allowed to have some kind of freedom. I don't think she was bad mouthing men. I just think from her life experience, this is what she's seen. I do not think all men are toxic masculinity. I do think a lot of men have, like I said, experience that doesn't jive with what she wants.
It's not what then say that. She doesn't want an older man. She feels like, now Tracee Ellis Ross, to be a 50-something-year-old woman, I think we're about the same age, 51, 52, 53. She has a great body. She stays in shape. She's
very talented.
And so she doesn't have to date the 55-year-old dude who may have the beer belly, and because she got her own money. That name Ross is there for a reason. She ain't just Tracee Ellis Ross. She's the daughter of Diana Ross. So she's linked to resources. She don't need no man for his money. And so when you start talking about the things that she wants younger dudes. And so that's the challenge I have with some of the same black women that are saying Shannon Sharpe shouldn't be dating these young girls are the same ones that say, you go girl, Tracee Ellis Ross for dating all these younger dudes. Like, come on, man, make up your mind.
Everybody knows her last name isn't really Ross. It's just, and Ellis is not her last name either. Her last name was her father's last name, Silverstein. So her name is Tracee Silverstein.
Well, her name that we all know her by is Tracee Ellis Ross because she's riding her mama. She's still Diana Ross's daughter, but stay on topic. So I see how you danced around my little soliloquy there. All this same women, black women, that are claiming that Shannon Sharpe needs to date women his age are the same ones that say Tracee Ellis Ross, you go girl for dating younger men.
That's why I ignored you, because we talked about this before the show. These things are very different. So let's play the comparison game with things that black women and women think are gross and things women are cool with. For example, we talked about this. Drea Michelle, the girl from Basketball Wives, who at 42 had a child with a man who is the same age as her child, who was 20 at the time. Mm-hmm. That is disgusting. That's not a, hey girl, you girl situation. That's it. Ew. What is wrong with, something is wrong with you.
Mm-hmm.
Do you agree with that?
Sure. Yeah. But I don't think the majority of black women agree with that.
But go ahead. We all collectively thought it was gross. Let me pull up. There's another person. And let's go to the white world. I don't know if you ever heard of a girl named Courtney Stodden.
No.
Okay. Courtney, do you remember remember the movie The Green Mile?
Yes.
Remember the sadistic guard from The Green Mile, who was he was a good actor in the film. He was a sadistic guard, whatever. He ended up.
It's been a long time since I've seen The Green Mile.
Anyway, he was nominated for an Academy Award for that role. He was 55 when he married a 16-year-old girl. The world collectively was like, ill, gross.
Yeah, that's disgusting. Yeah.
That's disgusting. So there are levels to this. I don't think Tracee Ellis Ross is talking about being in a relationship with a 19-year-old or a 20-year-old. I think Tracee is 52.
Why are you assuming that? She just said younger men. She didn't say how old.
You really think that? That's what you think?
I don't know. I have no idea. She just said younger man.
Bruh.
She just said younger man. What does that mean? Does it mean 25-year-old? Like Madonna has, who was it? Madonna, who's had several, and Cher definitely has had. Cher has definitely had men that have been 30 and 40 years younger than her.
Cher's current boyfriend is 37. And Cher
she's
is
damn near 80.
2?
Is she? Yeah, I'm about to say, if she's not damn near 80, she's right. Is Cher that old? My God.
You know who her current boyfriend is, right?
No, I don't pay attention to that world.
Her current fiance, boyfriend, or whatever is Amber Rose's ex-baby daddy. That is who Cher's longtime boyfriend is.
Oh my God, that whole world is something else. So the point is that I think that the same smoke that the same smoke that is out there for women, older women that date younger men, we need to have the same smoke, or we need to leave it alone. All this nonsense about, Shannon Sharpe wants to date younger women. Let him do what he's gonna do, because he's not like he's got the body he is a 40-year-old, 35, 40-year-old man physically. So if he can handle this 25 and 30-year-old woman, let him do what he's gonna do. I care less.
Okay, let's look at a couple of older women relationships that have happened in the past or are pretty famous. I mean, everybody remembers.
Share your screen.
I'll share right now. Entire screen. Share. Is it working? Okay. Courtney Cox and John McDade. We don't know who this is. They're 12 years apart. I feel like that's reasonable. Robin Wright Penn and Clement Goddard are 17 years apart. You don't know any of them. These are white people who are in the same situation. I'm scrolling past them. Okay, Kim Kardashian and Pete Davidson. They are 13 years apart. But no one even thought about it.
Right. That age difference never even came up. Britney Spears and whoever this guy is.
They were married, but they're 13 years apart. And Olivia Wilde and Harry, that doesn't count. There's one.
Why doesn't that count? Why are we skipping over that?
Go. Mariah Carey and her current boyfriend are 14 years apart.
But no one. But is anybody saying that Mariah Carey is a cougar for having this person she's dating that's 13 years younger than her?
I feel like they've always called Mariah Carey a cougar.
And on the flip side, but you couldn't because she was originally, wasn't she with what's the old man who owned all the record company? Tommy
Mottola.
Didn't she date Tommy Mottola for a while?
They were married for 18 months.
Okay.
The other person that's not on this is probably the most famous age differential couple is when Demi Moore got with Ashton Kutcher. I think she was 44 and he was 25.
You're making my point. We talk about her, man. Who is this? Who is she with now? Well, 25 years younger than her. Who is this guy? Corey Gamble.
He was a businessman, but they've been together now for 7.5 years.
Right. So, but once again, no one is putting it all on the front screen that Kris Jenner is out here dating this man she's been with for 7 years. That could be her son. Lord knows she's in her 60s. He could, depending on he's 25, he could legit be the grandson. Now, who is this old? 25 years apart.
So this is the fashion designer Vivienne Westwood and her boyfriend. They are 25 years apart, but she looks like the Crypt Keeper, so I have a problem with it.
He is there for you. Want to talk about gold digger? You ain't messing with no broke. He is there for the dough. He is there for the dough. You can't believe me. You're not gonna make me believe that they are exclusive. No way in the world. Sorry, not sorry. No.
All right. So we've gone through all of our fun stories. We basically did a little what. So now we have to get into one serious political story. Couple of political stories we end the show with, just because we want to bring it back down. And that is Pete Hegseth. Pete Hegseth just can't get right. Remember Can't Get Right from the movie Life? That is who Pete Hegseth is. Yeah. No matter what this man does.
My favorite, the favorite stain that I'm seeing in these streets that I chuckle with every time, that he was a DUI hire.
That is the funniest thing I've ever heard. That he's a DUI hire. That is hilarious.
And now they're talking about possibly finding somebody, there's conversations to get him up out of it. So the latest thing is he went right back to this Signal chat, which I still don't know what that app is, and had a conversation going on about another defense issue with his wife and his brother on his group chat. This guy's an idiot. He's an absolute idiot. And I just can't imagine, you got the press secretary coming out talking about, now we, everybody is just the Pentagon against him. Everybody's against him. No, he's an idiot. If he did his job, even when people didn't like them, these people are career military professionals and defense contractors that work at Pentagon. They want their jobs. But this guy is a numbskull.
And this is not even the weirdest thing he's done this week. So he actually recently ordered modifications to a room next to the Pentagon press briefing room to retrofit it with a makeup studio that could be used to prepare for television appearances, multiple sources told CBS. The price tag for this project was several $1,000s, according to two of the sources, at a time when the administration is searching for cost-cutting measures. The renovation that was initially planned would estimate a total cost of more than $40,000, but the ideas were scaled back. I don't care. This is dumb. This is dumb. Why are we doing this? Why does anybody need this? Why do you need a whole makeup? He basically used a bar next to the makeup room, next to the set. That sounds like what this is. I need a fully retrofitted bar with a bartender so I can get lit, so I can get on stage.
These people are crazy, man. You sitting up here firing people, you cutting people's Social Security. You're worrying about now the latest thing is that they're going to start trying to take people money for not paying their student loan debt and all this type of stuff. And this clown wants to get an extra makeup studio at the Pentagon. How about you worry about what's going on overseas? How about you worry about, and this crazy, this term that they are infatuated with right now, they're turning the Pentagon back into war fighters. They got to be war fighters. You know, now you want to talk about toxic masculinity. Like,
that's toxic masculinity.
War fighters. If you pull up war fighters right now, it's everywhere now. That's what the whole Fox line is now. The whole conservative, we got to turn these people back into war fighters. We got the most powerful, most dangerous military in the world. Don't nobody want no smoke from the U.S. military. We will go into debt. We will take this country into the doldrums and still have doggone nuclear weapons out there. And we weren't about turning people back into war fighters. What does that even freaking mean? These people are trained in these positions, whether it be all branches of military, and we weren't about showing everybody we war fighters. It's a bunch of garbage.
But here's the problem with the war fighters thing. It completely goes against everybody's whole narrative that once Trump goes into office, we won't have any more wars. And so if we don't have any more wars, we don't need any war fighters. But now it's there's not one war that has stopped. More wars have broken out. There was actually a terrorist attack in Kashmir. Don't ask me where that is. Me and my mother are watching in the morning, but it was a terrorist attack that attacked tourists in Kashmir, killing 27 the last time I checked it. The war with Hamas and Israel is still going on. The war in Russia, between Russia and that whole situation is still going on. Nothing has stopped. Things have only ticked up more. You've got more countries pissed off, and more countries to fight for resources. So where was this whole slowing down of anything?
This is all smoke and mirrors, and the mirrors are broken. Like, you ain't fooling nobody. This whole administration, Trump out of some of this, everything is going wonderful. No, it's not. Elon Musk the value of Tesla is going down. He's lost 71% of his gross revenue. 71% of the value. All the other automakers in America, numbers and ratings are great. Everybody hates Tesla now. I was driving down the block the other day, going to one of my endless basketball tournaments, and I see this Cybertruck, and I see this bumper sticker, and the bumper sticker says, "I bought this truck before we all knew that Elon Musk was crazy." That was the bumper sticker on the back of this Cybertruck, right? And so people realize, like, okay, I got $10,000 tied up in this vehicle. I can't just sell it. Nobody wants to buy it. I still got to drive this thing because I traded in my real car for this. So now I need to make sure people don't tear up my stuff driving down the block so let me put this bumper sticker on, like, please don't tear my shit up because I don't have nothing else to drive. That's pretty much where they're at. And so we are in crazy town right now, and so I don't know, man.
I'm so glad Omar don't own a Tesla or don't own a Cybertruck, because the amount of fighting I feel like you too. Somebody was like walking up to key your car, bruh. It's not even about what you feel. You just violated on a whole other level, and now you gotta show me hands. Like,
right. And you don't really. Nobody really wants that smoke, man. It's like it's a car. So here's the thing. Here's my line. If I see people with a Tesla and it's an older Tesla, I kind of give them a pass, right? We didn't really know. But if I see somebody with a Cybertruck, you knew how much of a tool this guy was, and you still bought it. And I just sit back and say, you know what? But am I gonna go up and key it up and want to spray paint it? Like, because it always seems to be these older white women that are running around doing all this vandalism. It's the craziest thing.
Happened? Listen, Karens, you guys are taking your Karenism to a level that's gonna get y'all in jail for real. Like, not just like docs on the internet, but like in jail. How are you guys making firebombs and throwing them at people's Teslas
and so it's crazy because I saw something the other day. They were talking about these protests because, of course, by the way, there's a whole bunch of big old protests that's going on all over the country. Went on last weekend, and the next one's supposed to be sometime in May. And they saying, well, there's no problems. There's been no attacks and no physical problems with police, and it's very, because black people ain't there. If black people was there, the cops would be losing their mind because they feel like they got some punching bags out there. They're not going to punch out these 65-year-old women who waving their flag, some of they hate Elon Musk. They can say, all right, just keep walking. Just keep walking.
And did you notice all these protests ain't that damn black people?
Black people have said, y'all can have this. We're good. We good. You know, at this point, we are really at a place where it's like, man, we done fought, scratched, and clawed, and this is what y'all want. Then y'all get what y'all let us know when y'all gonna do what y'all gonna do.
So I live in Trump country. We've talked about this before, and now there are protests all over Claremont of protesting Trump. And again, I live in Trump country.
Yeah.
I have not seen one black person. Ain't like we got a whole lot of Negroes here, but still, there's not one. There's not even a Hispanic person, mixed person. I don't see no light-skinned girl with curly hair. It's just older white people, 40 and up, who are out there protesting, blocking traffic. And it's like, but this is y'all fault. Y'all went out there and thought something different was going to happen. The different you thought was going to happen didn't happen. Now we're here. What do you want from the rest of the world?
Right. It is what it is. Yeah, I'm just curious. Did Omar mean to send this to you by text, or is he hearing my crickets on the show? I don't know.
I'm not even gonna yell into the living room. Just let him know. It's not a cricket in the house. Before you come in here with like blasting in the face with raid or something. There's not a cricket in the house. It is a cricket on Miguel's thing.
So before we get up out of here, I pulled up something else too. It's been 20 years since I think George W. Bush put this into place. You got your real ID. You got the little black star on your driver's license. You got the real ID on your driver's license. Because
I have a gold star.
Okay, that might be what it is in Florida. Y'all better get that stuff right, because it's now, as of May 7th. Don't show your stuff on here. Don't you show your stuff on here. As of May 7th, I think is the date. You got to have this real ID. You got to have these They're making everything. They're making everything more difficult as possible. This ain't Trump's fault. I'll be quick to be the one to be like, okay, Trump did this, Trump did that. This ain't got nothing to do with Trump. It's been around in preparation for 20 years. If you don't have your real ID, if you don't have passports for your kids, if you don't have documentation, don't get on them planes and go out this country and trying to get back up in this junk, because
so we would know and don't have passports. Actually, nobody in this house has passports, because we're poor. We ain't going nowhere. But we need to get passports. Is your star in the upper right-hand corner?
I don't have my wallet with me, but I believe it is. Mine is black. Georgia
Florida,
IDs. Yeah.
The star is gold. So yeah, I have a gold star on my license, and I have the hologram of my face, which was like the key thing. You have to have the hologram.
Correct. But then your kids don't have those. And so that's the thing for people who are trying to go out of the country. Like Saran is going to London to go see Beyonce perform because it's going to be cheaper to go to London and see it. But she's got to get a visa. Now these countries are not playing. They don't like us. These countries around the world say, you American, we about to make it as difficult as possible for you to navigate, to move, to see if we can get you to put pressure on your government, because we sick of
Devin has this as a gold star too, because I have Devin's in my wallet.
Okay.
So,
man, you got the man's, see right there. So you got that man ID in your wallet. Can that man have his own life? What's up, man? What's up?
You mean 19-year-old Devin who ain't got no car, ain't got no job?
Oh, you did say Devin. You did say Devin. I thought you said Omar. In my mind, you said Omar.
Really quick.
Yeah.
Really, I know we are running out of time. Did you watch G20 with Viola Davis with Tracy?
We did.
Oh, you about to say something messed up.
Go ahead. I want to hear you. Go ahead.
We liked it. Me and Omar liked it. We thought it was...
The production quality definitely felt like it was not for theaters. It was definitely kind of like, okay.
It was a Prime Video. It wasn't a Netflix.
First of all, the fighting scenes, come on, man. Viola Davis is 50-something years old, and she's supposed to be out there, Joan, whooping people behind. The fighting scenes were terrible. Let's just keep it real.
No, they weren't.
The fighting scenes were terrible. Stop.
They weren't that bad. But I will say, at least she got in fighting shape. At least it wasn't like how they did that skinny ballerina girl.
She's definitely in great shape, but she's still 55+ years old.
But again, 60. Think about it. Black Panther 2, they got old skinny stick figure ballerina girl in the suit. We supposed to be, she's so strong.
That wasn't the greatest either. No, they used a little CGI to make it look like it was what it wasn't. But yeah, but at least in Black Panther they used CGI. They ain't used nothing in that little made-for-TV movie that Viola Davis had, and it was, come on, man. And then I can't take the guy who was the villain. I can't take him seriously after he played on The Boys for he was played on The Boys for so long, and I stopped watching it because he was just so terrible. I couldn't finish. I ain't watched it. I ain't finished the last 2 seasons of that joint. And you know, Laz Alonso's my man. I just haven't watched it.
He's so Homelander that I think no one will ever be able to see him outside of that.
He
and
is
that's how
definitely
I guess it's a testament to how good he plays that role.
Yeah.
But you will always, he's going to have to do like a really serious rom-com or something romantic or sexy to get people to kind of forget he's Homelander.
First thing he's going to have to do is get rid of that bleach blonde Nazi looking hair. And then to even be considered something else besides Homelander. He just looks like, right. He needs to get a buzz cut and do something else because he's stuck in that role. Not to mention had that old close-up where he had his ice blue eyes and all that.
Appear in a Tyler Perry film, and then everybody forget about you being Homelander.
Oh my God. What else we watching?
Everybody this weekend, me and Omar, I'm about to call Nanny Alexis, intern Alexis, and ask her to watch The Kids because apparently Sinners is a movie that can't be missed.
Yeah.
And we're not going to miss it.
Yeah, we're trying to figure it out because we're getting ready to travel. Today's Wednesday. We're getting ready to travel on Friday morning, and then tomorrow tomorrow's going to be a packed day because I'm not going to, just letting you know, we ain't doing the show Monday. I'm going to be away from my house. I'm not going to sleep in my own bed for the better part of probably 9. Well, I don't need to be talking about this on the air because, you know, they say you can put them. Anyway, I'm going to be away from my studio because I'm going to be working all next week out of town. So there's that. But I want to see Sinners. We're going to try to slip out and do a matinee, you know, try to get it during the day because our nights are not our nights. The family just walked back in here from something. I don't know. But now I heard Sinners is amazing. And then the deal that what's my man's name, Ron Coogler got Hollywood kind of shook because he's negotiated something a lot of folks didn't have, which is he'll have ownership after 25 years of the film. It's his own IP. It's an original joint. And of course, now it's not a franchise type of situation. Last time I looked, the movie had already made $45-50 million. So it was already doing really, really well.
We're at 60 now.
Where is it at?
60 million.
It's at 60. That's great. And then did you see the story about Ben Stiller? Where Ben Stiller came out defending the movie and because Variety magazine was trying to claim that it wasn't a big weekend. And he came out and said that. Yeah.
I saw that, and I agree with Ben Stiller. You have an original project with a majority Black cast that that earned $45 million in one weekend. Right. I mean, on an Easter weekend at that, when they didn't really have a lot of stuff dropping, but there were some big other films that dropped that were still out, and it still managed to get $45 million. There were
some people who just weren't going to go last weekend because it was Easter weekend and because it was considered a horror film. We it was considered a horror film. So if you'd have dropped that thing on something outside of Easter weekend, who knows what it would have done? But they may have been strategic with that because some people go just to be, contrarian. So anyway, we want to check it out. Michael B. Jordan is one of my favorites. Don't you usually try to clown Michael B. Jordan?
Yes, Michael B. Jordan and Gabrielle Union, the two people that can't act. But apparently, Michael B. Jordan redeems himself in this film, and they say it's almost like he's not even Michael B. Jordan anymore because I didn't realize this. He plays twin brothers in the film, which I did not know.
Yeah.
The trailer was confusing me about that. I was like, oh, he grew a mustache and his mustache is gone. But he plays twin brothers in the film, and people are saying this really was his magnum opus. Which, if you're saying that,
I've never had an issue. I've been watching Michael B. Jordan since he was on The Wire. He was a kid on The Wire. It does not suck. Stop it. He's a good actor. I think he's a good character actor, and he's getting better. What is he? Probably in his mid-30s now. Is he still super young? He's probably in his mid-30s, 35 or so, if that. And so he's got a long runway. Huh?
I thought he was my age.
I don't think he's your age.
Hold on.
I don't think he's your age because when you go back to The Wire, when he was a teenager on The Wire, that was 20, 25 years ago. So he might be 35, 36.
38.
Okay. Ballpark. So he's still
40, but he did up there.
So anyway, all right, man. Well, great show. We appreciate y'all. And make sure y'all stay safe. Make sure you get them real IDs. Take care of your people. If your people out here, these people are not playing. They're locking up. They're trying to get to the point they're trying to take birthright citizenship and a little bit of everything else. Kumbaya. Peace.
Later.